All right, the big 100 century mark, episode 100. Amazing. What do we have in the docket today? Well, I think the biggest news, what news, maybe not news, was Nvidia's GTC, or their basically developers conference for the most part, or tech conference, was this week. And so I think that's the main thing. And then again, we'll talk more about our adventures in vibe coding, which I think a lot of people nowadays are probably more interested in than random layoffs and all sorts of stuff. Metaverse is officially going to be dead in the summer. I don't know if you saw that news, but I just saw that random headline. Like out the door, like no longer a thing, which is kind of funny considering they sunk like, how was it, like 90 billion into it at this point?
It's like a lot of money.
I know. That's called being ruthlessly prioritizing, meaning you're not worried about the sunk cost, right? You're like, this is not going to work, cut it, move on. So I have to
Kind
give
of
him
feel
props for
like it
that.
should have been earlier, though.
Yeah.
At the same time, we don't really know how much they were investing in it to date. So, from what I hear, it's still going to be around. Horizon's world is still going to be around. It's just not going to be updated.
Yeah, which is basically just, it's going to be dead.
But I'm also wondering, like, because I have I have a headset, and I don't remember seeing too many Horizon updates.
Yeah.
So I'm wondering, just like, was it even being worked on today?
Yeah.
But yes, like to your point, the sunk cost, I think it's a good move. Like, you spent that much. There's no need to spend more. As I can tell a story of when I made that pitch and my leader still wanted to spend more.
Right. And then it just, yeah, you just get dug deeper. And at least I'm assuming like some of the stuff they were able to transition into their AI initiatives, like, right? Like whatever data centers, etc., compute they built up to support metaverses can transition. So it's not a complete loss.
And I'm sure they learned a lot and
Yeah.
are going to take those learnings and apply them to,
Yeah.
their glasses. Because from what I hear, Ray-Ban Meta glasses are selling better than some of the traditional Ray-Ban models.
Yeah. But anyways, so back to GTC. Sorry, that was a little side tangent there, but that's what we're here. In case you didn't hear about something, you might hear from us, randomly talking. All right. Anyways, GTC. What do you got?
Yeah, so the big event happened this week. Hearing people calling Jensen the new Steve Jobs, but less articulate, I would say.
Yeah.
I was watching him present, and he just stumbles a lot and makes mistakes. I mean, he's human, obviously, and perhaps he doesn't practice as much as Steve Jobs used to. But
he said he doesn't practice.
Okay, he doesn't practice.
Midway, when during one of his small, this is like, this is what happens when you don't practice.
Yeah, it's funny to watch. At the same time, I'm like, well, some of these fumbles are just kind of, you should know this stuff. Anyways, it was a cool event. Obviously, a lot of the narrative is continuing to talk about the AI story and how Nvidia is the backbone of this AI world. Some of the things that were most notable to me were agentic AI stuff. I don't know if you saw, but he talked about OpenClaw, which is their one-line installation that integrates with OpenClaw, basically.
Yeah.
But the thing that was really cool about it was he started the section off with the meteoric rise of OpenClaw in GitHub. And so within GitHub, like projects and repos can get likes or stars. And he showed that, comparable technologies in the past, I think one of them was like React, right? Which Facebook, formerly then Facebook, now Meta, had launched, gotten X amount of stars within this timeline. But then I think the other one was Kubernetes, maybe. Mm-hmm. But then OpenClaw, it's like within a day or within maybe a week or whatever the timeline was, it hit the same more stars than these other Git projects. And so that was just a testament to how popular OpenClaw became very fast. And So they launched NemoClaw, which is something you can run in your command line, and it installs everything you need. And he also showed some performance data on the screen that showed the top performing models. I think Anthropic had the first two were like Sonnet and Opus, and then it was Codex 5.4. And then he said Nvidia's model was the fourth most performant and accurate. So that was interesting because I haven't actually played around with it,
Mm-hmm.
but that was an interesting take.
Yeah, like I didn't like when he said his model, I was like, do they have an open model? I don't think they do. I think it's
That's
still a
that's how I felt too. But he
yeah.
had
It's
it on
like
the screen, right?
I've never seen anybody mention Nvidia's model as like a thing to use, at least from a free point of view, right? I think most people when they talk about free models, they talk about like Quen or Kimi that you can like download and run locally. And so I was like, I couldn't find what he was talking about. Maybe I wasn't digging deep enough because like, oh, this could be cool. But no, I don't know where it's hosted, where you could get it. I want
Maybe
to try it.
I think it's in NemoClaw.
In NemoClaw? Okay. And then NemoClaw, I actually don't know anybody that's installing it. It's more like a, how did he describe it? It was like a more secure, not necessarily secure, but something you download for a business so that your data isn't shared with the LLM provider. I think was the main selling point, or right?
Yeah. So basically, it's here are the fine points. Built on OpenClaw's agent framework,
Right.
NemoClaw equals enterprise grade OpenClaw
Yeah.
with NVIDIA Brain
Yeah.
and guardrails, designed for always on autonomous agents and runs on NVIDIA's Nemotron models. So
Tron. That's
mostly
what it was.
enterprise security using NVIDIA's models.
Yeah.
That's what
Yeah.
fine points. Yeah.
Yeah, and so I think yeah. So when he was describing it, I think what my big takeaway was like OpenCloud today. If you don't run it locally, right, you run it through cloud providers. Like all your data is all your personal data, which people share a lot more personal data because some of them treat it as an actual personal assistant, right? Is basically it is shared back to these LLM cloud providers, right? So Anthropic, OpenAI, and so NemoClaw, when he says enterprise grade, it's like your data stays with you, and it almost serves as another interpretive layer before it gets sent to whatever LLM. Of course, you can use Nvidia's. So yeah, I mean, I think that just proves
What does that mean though? Because it's still going. It's still transmitting through
that's
the cloud.
I'm not sure.
Yeah.
I
And if you
haven't looked
use
into.
ChatGPT or Claude like web apps, it's the same thing. You're just giving it to the same
Yeah,
models,
yeah.
your
So
information.
I'm not sure, but it sounds cool. I guess it's just another point of maybe OpenAI made a good acquisition with OpenClaw, right? And yeah, it's like the most starred project on Git at the moment, I think.
Marketing.
I mean, it's
So just
cool.
positioning themselves as like secure, which is a
Yeah,
good play. That's what Apple does,
yeah,
right?
yeah. But anyways, I think that was the biggest thing. I felt like he didn't talk much about robots this go around.
No, he definitely talked about robots.
Did he?
Yeah, he had Disney's Olaf robot come on the stage with its own kind of like autonomous brain in it, and he was interacting and talking with Olaf.
Did he really? How did I miss that? I
So
watched
it's
the entire
there's
thing.
robotics is Nvidia's new or not new, but physical AI push.
Mm,
Same agent intelligence as they referred to regarding the agentic talk with
mm-hmm,
NemoClaw
mm-hmm,
embodied in robots. And
mm,
so, what are they building? They're building the Isaac platform, which is robotics dev plus simulation.
mm-hmm.
Group models, which is the foundation models for humanoid robots.
Okay.
Cosmos, which is world simulation and synthetic data. So you've seen a lot in past um, uh, past events where NVIDIA's whole thing is like they can train robots in a simulated environment, basically like in VR,
Mm-hmm.
and they can learn what to do and bring it back to the real world. And then Omniverse, which is their digital twins for training environments. So basically, talked about, let's say, skilled AI and NVIDIA deploying robots in Foxconn factories.
Mm-hmm.
And basically, yeah, just kind of giving an update to how they're starting to use robots more in an enterprise environment. So, main takeaway is Nvidia is focused on or betting on generalist robots, not specialized machines.
Okay.
Yeah. And then,
Still don't know how I
yeah.
missed that, but okay.
And then the last thing that was like I was really interested in was the autonomous driving part, which is they announced. I don't know if they announced it or if they've just retouched it on it, but Nvidia and Uber are launching robotaxis in 2027 and scaling to 28 cities globally. The other thing about Uber is they announced an investment in Rivian.
I saw, yes. I was like, man, I need to load up on Rivian at this point.
Yeah, so I think they're doing like several $billion to purchase Rivian's
Yeah,
R2.
yeah, it was like 50,000. I think it was like 50,000 was the number they were looking to purchase, which is
Yeah.
pretty good, not bad.
So I guess Nvidia is going to be the backbone of that.
Maybe.
I don't know.
Well, Rivian's building their own.
They are. So then where does Nvidia come into play here with robotaxis?
Yeah, yeah. Because they
Doesn't
were
matter.
showing a video of Jensen was like in a Mercedes for like 2 hours driving around California.
So other vehicles then maybe.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah.
And so yeah, that's a big one too. So the autonomous robotaxi world is, as we've been talking about,
Mm-hmm.
continues to heat up. I actually did a demo drive in an R1 over the weekend because Rivian is doing this sweepstakes right now,
Mm-hmm.
where if you go do a demo drive, you get
Mm-hmm.
entered to win a Coachella experience.
Mm-hmm.
So I signed up.
You did it. Okay.
Yeah, I signed up and took a R1 out for about 40 minutes.
Did you document it? That's B-roll right there. You missed out on our B-roll.
Our last 5 videos haven't had B-roll, so it doesn't really
Okay.
matter.
Right.
But demo drove it, and I just said, I think they're doing this to generate hype for the R2.
Yeah. Yeah.
He said they're going to have R2s there in a couple of weeks.
Okay.
But
So how
yes.
was it?
Huh?
How was it? Sorry, I keep
How was it?
interrupting you, but I'm like now I'm really interested to see what you thought of the R1.
It was good. I mean, I still like my Tesla, but if I was to purchase a second car right now, it'd be a Rivian.
Well, I want to hear about the comparison.
I'd say like the Rivian R1 felt more like your standard car, your standard SUV. This interesting things is that the motor was louder. So like the
Mm-hmm.
motor in my Tesla is like pretty quiet.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas I felt like the motor in the Rivian was louder. I don't know if they did that intentionally to make it sound like an actual car.
Like the electric whine was louder. Okay, it wasn't
Kind of
like
sound like
a.
kind of sound like I had a little engine in there.
Okay.
Drive was fine. I mean, the software was comparable. It didn't have, it had autopilot, but I'd say autopilot was a bit like, I don't know,
Hmm.
wasn't as like solid.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I wasn't blown away by it. That's you're asking. It was pretty standard. It just felt like a normal car.
Yeah. Okay. All right. What did I think?
Still like my Tesla.
Of course you do. I'm pretty sure I'd like the Rivian. I should
Have
go
you,
test drive. I'm pretty sure. Well, no, I don't think they have a Rivian. No, I'm sure they have to. I'm starting to see a little bit more here in Texas. But
yeah,
anyways, all right.
but going back to the Uber deal, the
Mm-hmm.
Uber investment is there, but it's contingent on Rivian delivering these R2s. So
Mm-hmm.
now I think this is like a make or break moment for Rivian with the R2,
Yeah.
right? It's like
Yeah.
if they can't deliver, the company's gonna have some real problems.
Right.
But I think they can.
Okay.
Yeah. Anything else that you wanted to call out for
No,
Nvidia?
I think that for me the most interesting thing when he was talking about OpenClaw and where he thought like I guess, the other area where Nvidia is focused on, right? Which kind of makes sense because his chips and stuff power AI, and so he wants more adoption of it to buy more, etc. So I thought that was probably the most compelling thing that I
Yeah.
heard. But we'll see how it goes. Now I gotta go figure out what this Nemotron
So I guess,
model is.
like in past episodes, we've been talking about Nvidia and what they need to do to just be like the next Apple.
Yeah,
And a lot of that was around more products, right? Like, but I guess where their strategy now, from what we're seeing, is they're not trying to build more products; they're trying to just build more infrastructure to support these products.
yeah,
Own basically the autonomous and AI infrastructure.
yeah. Selling the picks and shovels, right? I feel like not necessarily building. Yeah, I get. Yeah, I guess it's an interesting. Yeah, I mean, like Apple, it's just like fully vertical. Nvidia is more like we're just going to supply everybody and make everybody reliant on us, which is perfectly fine. So I guess we'll see. I was reading another, not reading. I saw this short interview. I forgot who it was, but another like a doomsayer that the hyperscalers are eventually this AI bubble will burst, and they were citing how all the hyperscalers, for the most part, are starting to go into debt in order to scale, right? Meaning that all the cash that they've managed to save up, etc., is basically all gone to the point where now they're just taking on debt now to fund this scaling, right? And so that's what they were using to cite like eventually this bubble will burst with these companies now in debt that they can't get out of, right? Because if they fail, that means they haven't been able to monetize, right? And so how do you what do you go where do you go from there? It was a kind of an interesting take, which, again, I guess it depends who you talk to. I don't know. We'll see. I mean, I think it has. Yeah, I'm not sure,
Yeah, we'll
but
see.
I mean,
We
yeah,
shall
we'll see.
see.
Like my OpenClaw at the moment has been sitting doing nothing for the past week,
Are you still waiting for the reset, or
and now
are
it
you
finally
just
it finally resets. It finally reset, and then I just kind of I lost motivation to do anything further with it other than try and fix the. I get a local model installed as my backup. So that's what I've been trying to do. So we'll see. And then I'll start back on my project. I've also been distracted with my app.
yeah? So what's the latest on your app?
So I've been spending most of my time has been spending like debugging it, meaning like so I've been using Claude to help me build it. So Claude is, it builds it all out per whatever specs you have. You kind of gotta walk it through piece by piece. And then yeah, and it's kind of you have like, all right, here it is. It's kind of functioning. Build it, and now I gotta go through like each screen to fix stuff. Like the graphics aren't right, the UI is wrong. Like it's like the beats aren't landing, etc. The functionality isn't working, and so it's actually a lot. It's a lot of QA, which a lot of people don't talk about. It's like, oh, yeah, I just spit out this app in 1 hour and I'm ready to go, 1 million recurring revenue like that. It's like, no, it's like BS. And this is just a simple app. I can't imagine if like I had something up on, whatever, Supabase and Vercel, etc. Like it's not a quick thing, I guess is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, no, you're right with that. I mean, and that's why I think as of late, when I started using OpenClaw more and started using Cloud Code more, my mindset around engineers being replaced changed because you still need to be pretty technical to do
Yeah.
this stuff,
Yeah.
and I don't think that's going to go away.
Mm-hmm.
Even when we get to like I still think you're going to need people who know how to actually use agents, which is the technical piece, to then do it effectively. And that's kind of how engineering is shifting in my mind.
Yeah. Yeah. Like that was the thing for me. It's like, okay, so it's building all this in Swift, right? And it's like I have no idea what it's actually doing. right? And so it's kind of hard to direct it other than just like verbally describe what I think it's missing or what's broken, right? And then it goes back, it tries it. It's like, oh, that didn't work. Let me try a different thing. And so it's like, I think that's where understanding and knowing how to code is beneficial, where it's a little bit more challenging for somebody who's not a developer or engineer, right? But having said that, I still think it opens up just another world for non-technical people to like bring an idea to life. I think that's where the value is.
Totally. I think for myself, like I'm pretty technical myself, but I was never like I never considered myself like an engineer, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I mean, I guess I consider myself an engineer. I just didn't like coding, and I'd
Mm-hmm.
say I was more of a hacker
Yeah.
versus a coder.
Yeah.
And this has opened the door now for me to just
Yeah.
bi- build all these ideas I've had in my head faster.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Because I think that was always been the challenge with me is like I just
Yeah.
really didn't know where to start
Yeah.
when I wanted to build something new.
Yeah.
And so that's been a good one. I think I remember. I don't know if you remember this, but our former leader at Verbo
Mm-hmm.
gave one of his vision presentations was around people who don't know data are like illiterate or will be illiterate,
Mm-hmm.
right? Do you remember
Yeah. Yeah.
this talk? And I also feel the same way about like AI. It's people who aren't actively using it or aren't taking the time to really learn it right now. In a year or two, are going to be illiterate in terms of like the new
Yeah.
technical world. So, and there's a lot of people. I mean, just like non-technical people, people who just aren't in this world
Yeah.
who we work with all the time. So,
Yeah. And so the other thought that came to me, or I was working through my app and stuff, is that I feel like this also enables. Okay, so two sides of this. So one is like you kind of hear like this idea of, oh, we're all moving to a world where basically we will never own anything and we have to like subscribe to everything. I think all the things people subscribe to, like they subscribe to Notion, they subscribe to more storage, or they subscribe to like all these like little apps here and there, right? Where now, like, I think now this also allows you to basically build what you need to use personally, right? So I'm like discounting other people who's like, oh, I'm gonna make $1 million off of this or whatnot. But I think the value is also like you can just build something. Like I saw somebody's like, I built a remote for my TV, so I can use my phone. I'm like, that's cool. And so I think that's the way that's the interesting thing is giving people the capability to build stuff that they don't necessarily need to pay for, but do because they don't know how to make it themselves, right? So I think that's where like OpenClaw is interesting, right? Is okay, you have this quote personal agent where you can, yeah, you can have it set up calendar invites, or eventually you could even ask it to, hey, can you help me create like a calendar that my family can use, or a way for them to easily create calendar invites instead of having to go into Google and do it, right? So I think there's a lot of interesting use cases around that side of it, is you being able to build your own product to use by yourself, right? So it doesn't have to be perfect. It doesn't have to have, all these security checks, and you don't have to worry about all the legal matters, etc. It's more about like from a personal perspective, how you can use it versus going out there and trying to find something to fit your need. But
yeah.
anyways,
Well, correct question. Why did you choose to build it in Swift versus something else?
that's just what it told me to. Like to build an iOS app, it just like it's I guess so I installed the Claude Code CLI, right? And that basically said, yeah, just do that, and then it can create the Xcode project for you and just build it that way. And so that's just the way I did it.
Okay.
Why?
One tip. I always like one tip I've seen that works is I always like have it double check itself.
Uh,
So like if it tells me that it should do it in this way, I'm like, are you sure that's the right approach? I'll
right.
ask that question,
Oh, really?
and then it'll
Okay.
double check itself and be like, oh, actually, like let me ask you more questions, or even say like, do this if you have any questions that need
Hmm.
clarification.
Hmm.
so we can get this right.
Hmm.
Let me know.
Right.
Yeah, maybe Swift is the best option. I think I just talked to you about like Flutter last time, where
Hmm.
now that it's on Swift, it's only compatible with iOS. Whereas if you did it in something like more cross-platform compatible, like Flutter or Dart, then you could be on Android out of the box.
So this is okay. So this is where I thought you were going, and maybe this is where you were going. So Flutter uses Dart. So the apps that it builds, is it using like a web view to basically plug into the app? Like it's not a native like
It's very similar to like React Native.
right,
So it is native. It's
but
just
it's
not. It's not.
because because like this week I saw Apple not necessarily banned, but they were targeting these two AI companies that build mobile apps. Was it
Oh
Replit?
yeah, I saw that too.
Right? And so that's why I was wondering if that's what Flutter does something similar. It's like you go in and it builds it. It's not necessarily it's not in Swift, right? The native iOS. It's basically a wrapped. They've just built a wrapper for the iOS app, which actually Apple is trying to not do.
I don't think they banned those two apps because of that reason.
You don't think so?
No, I remember. I don't. I remember seeing the headline. Let's see. It was well. We don't have to look for it now. I thought it had to do with the way they were serving like their models, like the AI models.
No, it wasn't the AI model. It was literally about the way they were compiling the apps or something, and it could bypass the review process because it can update in real time, right?
Okay, yeah, that's probably it then. But that wouldn't that's not what Flutter does. Like Flutter, I mean, yeah. I'd be surprised. I'd be surprised if they were to ban Flutter because there's a million plus apps built in this right now in
Okay.
the app stores.
Same thing
That
with the
Flut-
Replit thing. Replit. I can't even pronounce their company name. They've got millions of apps too.
Replit.
Yeah, I don't remember.
Well, yeah, we can take a look at it, but yeah, I don't.
Yeah, Replit. That's right. It is Replit. Replit.
I'm doing a search on the news and nothing's coming up immediately.
Yeah, Replit. Yeah, that's what it was. Yeah, I just saw this on X. So whether it's valid or not, I don't know.
Well, going back to Claude then, and I think yeah, like double checking it is always good. I mean, Swift. The reason why I thought you chose Swift or why Claude chose Swift is
Mm-hmm.
because of the animation that's needed, you know.
Mm,
So that could be a reason why, because Swift, I mean, native Swift, like just does iOS animations and
yeah.
much better, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
My musings in the last week. Similarly, I haven't been using OpenClaw as much, although I want to. I have pinged OpenClaw, my OpenClaw agent, to do just. I just use it for random tasks,
Mm-hmm.
like adding things to my calendar. Or what I actually had it do was, so I sent a little token of appreciation to everyone who had actually referred me to a job, right?
Okay. That's
And
nice.
so I had my assistant draft up the email to all of them.
Yeah.
And so that was like, a task that it's like, 10 plus emails
Okay.
that I didn't have to write manually, right? So that was something I used it for. It continues to kind of look at my jobs and present it to me. But since I'm done with that now, I stopped that task.
Okay.
And then the other use case I'm primarily using it for right now is taxes. So I have a tax
Mm,
channel in my
yeah.
Discord to where I'm helping it keep me healthy. I'm having Cami keep me on pace and track
Mm-hmm.
to file my taxes on time.
Okay.
Um, so yeah, it's still there. I mean, it's cheap to have, and it's always like my assistant that I can call on. But I don't really have it doing complex tasks. All my complex stuff is done in Claude Code.
Mm,
So yes, my app I showed you to it's in the apps. It's not in the app store. It's submitted and I'm just having it like pre-alpha, mostly just getting like initial feedback and also just showing friends like what I did in 20 hours,
Yeah.
which I think was pretty good. So Cloud Code, and then I use Cloud Code for my other startup, Certify IQ, which is revenue generating. What we're using Cloud Code for in that business is much more complex than anything else I'm doing.
Mm-hmm.
It's pretty wild. Like we have 5 different sub agents that have their own memories, right? So we have a CMO, we have a chief of staff
Yeah.
slash BizOps, we
Right.
have customer support agent. I have a social media manager that's posting to text daily.
Okay.
You'll see like that's all automated.
Yeah. Yeah. See, that was my goal with OpenClaw, is to kind of have something similar. Like you have different agents do different tasks. I just need to find something for them to actually do something around, which is kind of what I was building. Was building like a pipeline to basically do something similar. So we'll see. Maybe I'll pick it up after I get like my app, whatever, submitted, and then I can focus back on OpenClaw and get that to.
Yeah. But see, to do like the scale that which we're doing in our startup, like you're gonna have to pay for the max plan. Otherwise,
Yeah.
you're gonna tap out pretty quickly in
Yeah, no,
2 months.
like even with like the Cloud Codec, I was already like tapping out, and that was with trying to only work during their happy hours that they were doing for these 2 weeks, or for the until the end of the month, right? Like double usage on the weekend, and like at nights basically, and I was still like almost hitting my cap on that. So,
It's
we'll
worth
see.
it. The $100 plan is worth it if you are like seriously trying to get something out there to
Yeah,
monetize.
yeah. So yeah, maybe I'll pay for it for a month just to get it shipped, and then after that, then I can go back to the cheap plan. Because it's like, if you're not constantly using it, then you're basically leaving money. Even though apparently people forget what it was like floating around, where these $200 and $20 max plans, people were just identifying like how much they were being subsidized, right? And so apparently the max plan is basically like 5,000. If you think about how much tokens you get for that 200, it's actually worth like 5,000 or so. And so that's where people are saying, get ready for the money train to end when they stop using VC money to subsidize.
Yeah.
So take advantage while you can, is basically the gist.
Well, that's why I'm excited to join my new company because now I'll probably have whatever plan they're using. But obviously, I can't do my own stuff with that, but
Right, right.
I'll continue to do stuff. But yes, the news is I'm finally joining a company. I start on Tuesday. It's an AI
Congrats.
first company, so excited about that. Company is called Read.ai, and it's a multi-channel digital twin. Excited about the opportunity. I think I wanted to be in an AI company, and this
Hmm.
puts me there. Anything else on this episode 100? We kind of very casual, but I actually liked how it came out.
Yeah. No, I think that's it. I think that's. I don't know. Maybe we'll shift, be less newsy and more about. I think what people are talking about nowadays is more about, what is it? More about building. I've seen this word thrown around a lot, like builders. Like everybody should be builders, and like I never really got it, but maybe that's what we should talk about: building things.
The AI builder lifestyle, or
Yeah,
the AI
yeah,
lifestyle.
yeah,
Sounds good. All right. Well, we will talk to you next week. Stay safe. Give us a like, subscribe, and we'll see you again next week.
yeah. See ya.